Chapter 5 is entitled God, Religion, and Morality. As always, I go straight to the heart of the matter. Does God even exist? I then argue that you can't really even begin the debate because, when all is said and done, you can't even get people to agree on what God is or what he, she, it, or them want from us. I argue that when it really comes down to it, God and religion have little to do with morality. That people may believe in God, but their faith has been put in men. That geography and exposure are the main factors in determining what religious beliefs a person will hold as an adult. That every human being is actually an atheist 99% of the time. That although religion may be beneficial to local communities, it tears the world community apart. That any God who would send the overwhelming majority of people off to be roasted in hell for all eternity based on their ignorance is evil. That although human beings have an innate need to believe in something, what they believe in isn't that important. That there's an irreconcilable difference between believing something and knowing something. That many types of beliefs actually make justice impossible to apply. That if you believe in creationism or intelligent design, you must reject the conclusions of the overwhelming majority of scientists from every single scientific field of study, from anthropology, archaeology, astronomy, biology, cosmology, geology, paleontology, all the way to zoology. That believers of one religion inevitably judge their own God or religion by a different set of standards than they judge the God or religion of others, and much, much more. Chapter 6 is about what it actually takes to live a moral life. I begin with the universal code of conduct. Don't murder, steal, lie, cheat, or hire anyone to do any of these things for you, and treat others the way you want them to treat you. I go on from there to make an important distinction between killing and murdering, and how the government should only kill in the protection of life, in the potential protection of life, and in the application of justice. And if the government goes outside of these strict boundaries, it's guilty of murder. Next, I name the essential values and virtues in living a moral life. These include justice, peace, knowledge, rationality, objectivity, honesty, integrity, independence, productivity, truth, and loyalty. Then I name the non-essential, but still important, values and virtues, such as happiness, meaning, purpose, pride, self-esteem, wisdom, love, good reputation, hope, benevolence, balance, courage, sense of humor, perseverance, passion, and finally, patience. Last but not least are what I refer to as conditional values and virtues. These include freedom, peace, and justice. These values are conditional because if others don't value them, you cannot possibly possess them. Examples are then given to prove the point. Next, I get into what I call the 7 consequences of human action. From best to worst, they are heroic, moral, right, amoral, wrong, immoral, and finally, evil. And how every action a human being takes fall under one of these 7 categories, even though we may disagree on which category. And then, because happiness is the only value we pursue for its own sake, some advice on how to achieve it, such as Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Be proactive, begin with the end in mind, put first things first, think win-win, understand first and then be understood, synergize, and sharpen the saw. These were added because they are truly insightful and paradigm changing. And after all, that's what this book is all about, changing the human paradigm. Chapter 7 is the final chapter, and it's about exceptions to the rules and odds and ends. This chapter gives some examples of where doing the moral thing would actually be contrary to the universal code of conduct. Sometimes it's actually moral to lie, cheat, steal, etc. And I explain why. Although these are rare occurrences, sometimes we might be faced with the dilemma. After this, I give some interesting and, of course, controversial opinions on a litany of subjects ranging from unjust double standards, the insanity defense, how alcoholism is not a disease, and the rights of children, all the way to why it's absolutely ridiculous and a major contradiction for pornography to be legal but not prostitution. It's legal to pay someone to have sex in front of a movie camera, but illegal to pay someone to have sex if they're not in front of a movie camera. Yes, this book is controversial. However, the point is not to enrage, but to inform. And although most people will probably not only detest much of it, but condemn it as well, because of the chapter on religion, its questions and conclusions simply cannot be ignored if you're truly concerned about ethics and morality. Listen, the Republicrats are destroying this country from within. Just since I began writing this book, our national debt has skyrocketed to more than $13 trillion. While Democrats and Republicans play musical chairs with the presidency, Congress, and the Senate, our nation slips further into fiscal oblivion. They're turning your children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren into little more than serfs of the state and beasts of burden for the bureaucrats in Washington. Is this what you want? Please help put America back on the right track. If you want to know how to do this, if you want to be able to defend your right to life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness on moral grounds, the only way they can be defended, my book will enable you to do it. Once again, it's The Common Sense Ethics of a Blue-Collar Philosopher by S.G. Applebee, and it's available at Publish America. Thank you for your time.